Hi everybody. We're all getting ready to stay home for a while and we're collecting essentials that we're going to need. So I wanted to suggest some additional supplies to have on hand for your young artists at home. Not only is art a boredom buster, but it's also therapeutic and it'll be important to your child during this time. So first of all, I want to talk to you about paper. Printer paper is an inexpensive resource and you can usually buy an entire ream of 500 sheets for about $6. The quality is sufficient for sketching, but if your child likes to do watercolor or paint, then you might want to go with a higher quality paper that's a little bit more expensive. And if your child likes to draw really tiny, you can always cut up some of the sheets in half or into quarters to help reserve your supplies. And it's likely that your child has a sketchbook at home. This is going to have better quality paper in them. You could usually use them for pencils, markers, glue, paint. And if you have an unused book at home, it would be really great to contain all of the work inside one book. Your child can carry it outside and work or draw while they're watching TV. And it would also be nice to have a place to document their thoughts during the pandemic. Sometimes they can do that in pictures. And every once in a while, you may offer a prompt like, hey, maybe today you can draw a picture of what it's like to be home from school. And what they end up making will help you gauge how your child is doing through all this. You could also use old mail. So if you run out of paper and you have extra flyers or mail around that have a blank side, you can also use that, and it's oftentimes better quality than the printer paper. So now I want to talk to you about some basic recyclables to have on hand, and I suggest making an art resource bin by using an empty box or whatever, and let your child know that it's totally for them to use however they like. So first of all, remember that precious toilet paper you have has precious rolls inside of it. These can be used for anything. They can be used for so much, so go ahead and throw these in the resource box. Also, I really like these little soap boxes. You can make some stuff with this too, and they can be used for crafting, sculpting, and I love these, so toss those in the box too. And then food packaging boxes. These are like gold, all right? They're flexible. They're very easy to cut. Small children can cut them. They can bend them into shapes and tape them and make things with them. You can also cut them up into canvas size and make paintings. They're a little bit flimsy and they'll bend a little bit when the paint dries, but then you can always flatten them again. Corks. They're handy. You can make things with them, and you can also make rubber stamps with them. You can find things around the house and put those in the resource box too. Old books are also great for drawing and crafting. The kids could paint on the pages, they can draw on them, and sometimes they have pictures in them that could be colored in or modified. Like this little guy looking in the mirror could be turned into a zombie or something, or maybe give him some bunny ears. So there's some creativity there too. I'm going to finish up by showing you some basics you should have on hand, and I realize a lot of you may already have some of these, but I suggest checking to make sure you have enough for the next couple of months. I recommend at the very least having pencil and eraser, sharpener, crayons, masking tape, some glue, and a set of basic watercolors. And we also in class often use Sharpie pens or permanent markers, and we use an extra fine point, ultra fine, and then we use the regular tip. So these are great to have on hand for our students, especially so that they can practice their techniques at home. And if you don't have a permanent marker, you could use just a regular ballpoint pen too. Maybe pull a couple of those aside for your child to use. And if you're going out to buy supplies, I recommend a multi-color set of watercolors if you can find one. These are going to be a lot more fun and inspirational. But if you have this basic set and that's all you have, that's totally fine. Totally. And then lastly, A set of oil pastels and some colored pencils would really round out your supplies and give your child a lot of options to practice techniques at home. If you happen to have some washi tape, some rubber stamps, glitter, these kinds of things aren't necessary, but you might want to gather them up if you have them in a little bowl or something and hold on to them for a couple weeks and then bring them out so that you can kind of reignite your child's imagination. Most of our classes are online and we're currently enrolling for April. Our schedule's a little bit limited right now because we're hunkering down and trying to adjust, but if things go well, then we can add some more times to our schedule in May. And another exciting thing actually is that anybody can join us. It could even be somebody out of state. So I hope I see some familiar faces in class and we all get through this. All right, so see you guys later.